Good morning, students. In the last class, we have completed the lesson The Treasure Within Part 1 of A Reading. And I think you have remembered the story. What is the story about? Yes, The Treasure Within is an interview between Miss Bella Raj, who is the editor of Sparsh, a news a newsletter, and Mr. Hafiz Contractor, one of India's leading architects. As a school student, Hafiz Contractor was afraid of education. It was literally a nightmare. Hafiz was a good student in the first and second years. When he reached the third standard, he lost interest and he never studied. He was interested in games, playing jokes, and pranks on others. He would copy during the exam times. He could not remember things when they were taught in the class, so he tried to get hold of the examination paper that was prepared and study it. One day his principal called him and spoke to him. One sentence spoken by the principal at that time changed his life. When he was in the 11th standard, the principal called him and told him that he was a good student but he never studied. Till that day, he had taken care of Hafiz, and it was not possible for him to do that anymore. Hence, he had to take care of himself. Hafiz did not have father, so his mother worked hard to bring him up and paid all his fees, but he only played games. The principal asked him to study well. Hafiz was a good sportsman. He played every game. He was a senior champion for the school. But that year he didn't go out to play. He used to pray, eat, and study. In the SSC examination, he worked hard and scored 50%. The principal asked Hafiz to consider the score a distinction. Hafiz couldn't remember anything he listened to in the classroom. In order to remember things, he had to see them as a photograph. So, reading a book was more helpful to him. Than listening to a teacher in class. Hafiz received a caning every week from his teacher, but he never took it seriously. He was serious about playing, going to movies, eating, and having gang fights. He opened the books one day before the exams, so his books were almost brand new, and students used to buy them for the following years. So, till here we have completed the lesson in our last class. Today we are starting B reading, and the name of the lesson is The Treasure Within Part 2. So, we are continuing with the Part 1. So, if you see in your textbook, The Treasure Within Part 2, continuation of the interview between Miss Bella Raj and Hafiz Contractor. Hafiz stumbled on architecture because he knew little French and less German. He was off bet even in the pranks that he played. When he followed his calling, there was no looking back. So Hafiz was stumble on architecture. Architecture means the art and study of designing buildings, because he knew little French and less German, and he was off beaten even in the pranks that he played. And when he found his calling, there was no looking back. Then Belaraj was asking, how did you get into the field of agriculture, into the field of architecture? So, what did Belaraj asked? How did you get into the field? Field means area of work of architecture. What is architecture? I told you, the art and study of designing buildings. Then what did Hafiz answered? In the school, in the college for architecture, nobody who had got below 80 to 85% was allowed to enter. I had only 50%. So in his college for architecture, nobody who had got below 80 to 80% was not allowed to enter the college, but he had only 50%. And I wanted to join the army. Army means one session of defense force. So he wanted to join the army, and he got admission letter, but his aunt tore it up. And then he decided that he wanted to join the police force. So first he wanted to join in the army, but when his aunt tore that letter, he thought to join in police force. Then see, my mother said, don't join the police force, just do your graduation. So I went to Jai Hind College in Bombay. So when he wanted to join police force, his mother refused him not to join in it in police force, and she asked him to do his graduation. Then he went to which college? Jai Hind College in Bombay. There I was to take either French or German. Though I had studied French for 7 years, I did not know 7 words of French, so I took German. Then my German teacher died. The college told me that I could change the college or take French. Now, who would give me admission in another college? I had got admission to Jai Hind by influence. So I thought, okay, I will take French, and I started learning French again. I learned it from my cousin. She was an architect's wife. I was going to the architect's office to learn French. So he was telling, he he was he has the chance whether he can choose French or German. Though he studied French for 7 years, he not even knows 7 words from French. So he took German, but his German teacher was died. Then the college told him to change the college or else to join in the French. So he thought, in now where will he get the admission? Even he got admission in Jai Hind College also with some influence. So he thought it is okay to take French, and he started learning French. And he learnt it from his one of his cousin, and she was an architect's wife, and he used to go to the architect's office to learn French. Then what did Miss Bella Raj said is, was it then that you decided you wanted to do architecture? So as he was going to architect's office daily to learn French, then Bella Raj asked, was that the situation which made you to do architecture? Then Hafiz said, actually, it all happened quite by chance. In the architect's office, I saw somebody drawing a window details. a window detail is very advanced drawing. So he is explaining that why he took the architecture, because all these has happened by chance. Because when he went to architect's office, he saw somebody drawing a window details, and he said, what is that? Window detail is very advanced drawing. And I told him that his drawing was wrong, that the window he had drawn would not open. So when he saw the drawing, he told the person who is drawing that window, he told that this drawing was wrong. Who said? Hafiz said to that person, because the window which he was drawing, it would not open. He then had a bet with me, and later he found that indeed his drawing was wrong. My cousin's husband was surprised. He asked me to draw a few specific things, which I immediately did. So, when he said that this window will not open, so the person who was drawing, he had a bet with him, whom? With Hafiz, and later he found his drawing was wrong, and his cousin's husband was in a surprise, because because Hafiz didn't studied architecture. But when he explained his mistakes, so his cousin's husband wasn't surprised, and he asked him to draw few specific things, which Hafiz has done immediately. He asked me to design a house, and I designed a house. After that, he told me to drop everything and join architecture. He went to meet the principal of the college. The principal warned me, I will allow you to take part in the entrance exams, but if you do not do well, I will not allow you to join. So, what did he do? His cousin's husband, he asked him to design a house, and Hafiz designed a house. After that, he told me to drop everything and join architecture. And also he went and met his principal of the college. Then what did the principal said? The principal said that they'll be giving the chance to write entrance exams, but uh, if he failed to appear in that, that principal will not allow him to join. So Hafiz got an A plus in the entrance examination, and from that day it was a cakewalk. I had never made a plan, but I knew how something looked like from the top. I had never known what a section was, but I knew if you cut a plan, it would look like. So he got A plus in the entrance exam, and from that day it was a cakewalk, means something easy to achieve. And he never made a plan, but he knew how something looked like from the top, and he had never known what a section was, but he knew if he cut a plan, how it will look like. I stood first in class, first throughout. After that, I believe that all this understanding came from what I used to play and do during school. So he got first in class, and afterwards also first throughout after his first achievement. And he believed that all this understanding was all this understanding has come from his uh, from the games he played. And see, from what I used to play and do during schools. So he say that he has achieved whatever he has done in his school, and how he has played has made him to understand all these things. So I think you have understood till here. There are hard words: architecture, admission, graduation, French, influence, surprised, designed, entrance. And your home assignment is write hard words in your notebook. Students, I have given you hard words. Write them neatly in your notebooks without any spelling mistakes, and also learn the spellings of the hard words. We'll be completing the remaining part of the lesson in the next session. Thank you. Have a good day.